at 7:05 or 7:06, depending on what timepiece you're using. And there's Eric, or the man formerly known as Eric is now Chan, Crypto Eric. So Mark Jackson, Jim Frere, Rich Stein, Lisa Wilson Grant, Chan, or formerly Eric Chandler, and Dane Laird are here. Acceptance of minutes, which I confess I forgot to read.
I did read the minute, and I have a couple of corrections. Okie dokie. So, page 3 on cemeteries. A typographical error. There is no W in somebody. And Brookside needs to be capitalized, a capital B. Other than that, I found nothing to change.
Cemetery is spelled wrong as well.
Oh, so it is.
I was literally about to say cemetery, but that's not the word.
Sedentary. Okay, so those of us who were at last month's meeting, do we accept those minutes? And I forget, do I do Eric, can you fill me in on the words I need? Or Jim?
Oh,
I move.
somebody make a motion to accept the minutes as amended.
I move to accept the minutes.
Second. I'll second it.
Okay.
Now we vote.
So I think I didn't see all the hands. I looked away for a second. So Rich, Jim, Mark, and okay. So it looks like Jim, I guess, wasn't there. So it's unanimous for who was there at the meeting.
And I abstain.
Okay, that's right. Next up is public participation. I don't think we have anyone, but
there's one person on.
Okay.
If you'd like to make a public comment, please use the raise your hand feature. It's at the bottom of your screen, and we'll bring you over if you'd like to make a public comment. Seeing no hands.
okay. Next up is reports from boards. Norwalk Historical Society, Diane Jelleret.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to thank everybody who came out to the Earth Day festival last month on April 26th. Even though it rained a little bit, it was very successful. So I just want to thank everybody who showed up. And we had David Pogue at Mill Hill, and he was great. So those of you who were able to see him and hear his talk, that it went really well. And he was impressed by our turnout, even though it rained on the green. So so thank you, everyone. And this was the 4th one for the Earth Day, and we've all agreed we're going to do it again next year. So just know that. Coming up for the Historical Society, also we were open on Memorial Day, so at Mill Hill. And it's always great to see some of our residents who have never been to Mill Hill, and they thoroughly enjoyed it. We had a gorgeous day on Memorial Day, so so we're going to be starting to be open on weekends, starting right after the 4th of July. So just let you know, just come on by. And coming up, we're going to June. We have something going on just about every week. We're going to be participating in the Connecticut Open House Day. That's going to be on Saturday, June 14th, and you kind of sign up with the city. And this is going to be the 21st Connecticut Open House Day. So Mill Hill's not going to be open, but the museum will be open It's free admission to come into the museum. So we're all signed up for that, and you'll probably start seeing signs and information for other organizations around the state of Connecticut who will be opening and offering either free or reduced admission to their sites. Next, we will be having on June 21st, which is on a Saturday, the Scouts and Soldiers, Native Americans, and the Colonial Militia that we're doing in collaboration with the DAR. So that's Newark Village Green, our local chapter here in Norwalk. And Drew will be presenting. He's an Algonquian living historian, so he will be here in person. The last time we had him present, it was on Zoom, which went fine, but this time he's going to be in person. And he's going to be talking about Native American involvement in the military and militia during the colonial wars of the 18th century. And he's going to be bringing items that you can either touch and feel. And explain what happened, how Native Americans survived, the Europeans, and what happened during that time period. It is designed for ages 7 and up because we do want children to be involved with this, and we're asking that any kids 14 or under have a parent with them or an adult with them. It's not just kind of a drop off. So, but it's going to be fun. And again, we're doing this in conjunction with the DAR. So, and it is free to come, and it's at 2 o'clock on the 21st. And next up, the following week, we're going to, actually it's the same week, Friday, June 27th, we're going to have the Mill Hill Garden Party. Most of you know about that. So this is going to be, I think, the 5th year we're going to be doing that. And we're having Perry and Friends. Everybody loves that group. And they play classic rock and blues. And if it's a nice night, bring your lawn chairs and hang out. You can bring a picnic. So we're all looking forward to doing that. And again, that one is in collaboration with the Building Community Through Music. So everybody has fun. And that's going to be at 6:30 to 8 on Friday, June 27th. And after that, following week is Independence Celebration. So that's July 4th. We're opening Mill Hill at 10:30. And the program will start at 11, and we're going to be doing the bell ringing ceremony, and we will be done by noon. So that's coming up, and in July we're doing a couple of things in July. It's full almost every week. We're going to have the author talk. This is Carolyn Ivanoff. We fought at Gettysburg, so she is going to be here Sunday, July 20th. At 2 o'clock at Mill Hill. And she's written a book. And this is a program that follows the 12 members of the 17th Connecticut, which was the Fairfield County Regiment, through the 3-day battle at Gettysburg and beyond on July 1863. So she's going to be talking about that. And her book will be available for sale at that particular time. And the last day of July, 31st, we're going to have a summer beer tasting and barbecue. So that should be fun. That's a fundraiser. So it's going to be on Thursday, July 31st, 6 to 8 p.m. And we are having Greg Glaser come and lead a talk. And he will have a minimum of 4 beers that we'll be tasting. Those you come, he may have a 5th, depends on what's going on. And we'll have light bites of barbecue to taste with that summer beer tasting. So something a little different. But that's it through the end of July. So I'll give you an update next month on what we're doing after that.
Great.
I'd like to
Thanks,
just
Diane.
comment on a couple of, Dana,
Yeah.
I'd like to just
Sorry,
comment on a
Eric.
couple of things. Drew Ravis, who's doing the Scouts and Soldiers. I've worked in conjunction doing educational presentations with Drew probably for the last 10 years. mostly up in Danbury when they have their 4th and 5th graders come through their colonial program. He is an exceptional presenter. He is steeped in the Algonquin culture, which is only half of his heritage. Um, the objects that he will be bringing, for the most part, he has made them himself. So he can not only tell you what they are and how they were used, but how they were constructed. I've seen Carolyn Ivanoff a couple of times. She's also an excellent presenter. So I encourage everyone to come to both those programs. And Mark, I think you in particular will really enjoy Drew. You guys are of a similar mindset when it comes to education. So that's it.
I've actually had Drew present to my classes before.
Yeah,
Then you
I
know.
think, yeah, Mark, I think we have a picture of you with Drew the last time we had him in person.
Yep.
I have a picture. Yep.
Yeah, he has an Instagram or maybe a Facebook or Instagram, so you can see the things he's made and done, and as well as that great program he had. Okay. Next up, Lockwood Matthews Museum, Susie Gilgore.
Well,
Oh.
hello and thank you everyone, everybody who was there at the ribbon cutting yesterday. And if you weren't, please come visit. We look forward to having you and to thank you for all the support you've given us to accomplish what was accomplished. We had a lot of press. We had News 12, Nancy on Norwalk, The Hour, and we've received an additional 167 features nationwide for the reopening of the mansion. So hopefully this will help us bring lots of visitors to Norwalk and the mansion in the months to come. We participated in a very well attended Norwalk Day in Hartford on May 13, organized by Senator Duff. And on May 18, we had a car historian, John O'Leary IV. We had a classic Cadillac 1965 parked right outside of Stepping Stones, and lots of people took selfies. And we can't thank enough Stepping Stones Museum for Children for supporting us, not just for this lecture, but for many of the lectures, along with the library and of course the Norwalk Historical Society and Diane Gilret. It was really incredible to have the opportunity to keep the mansion alive with programs with these great collaborations. On June 4th, we are officially reopening with tours. And at 8 a.m. in the morning, we're with the Norwalk Chamber of Commerce receiving an award. So it's going to be a very exciting day. Tours are, of course, going to be restarting after a 2-year closure. There's a lot of excitement in the air, a lot of calls and reservations. And on June 12, we have the opening of a new exhibition in collaboration with Silvermine called Reimagined Reflections. The exhibition will serve as a very powerful metaphor for the mansion's own renewal and transformation and abstraction, evoking emotions and inspire reflection. We hope that you'll be there for the reception, 5:30 to 7:30. And anytime you want to come and visit the mansion, at any time we're there, please let us know. And we're going to be very excited to have you. Thank you. Any questions? All right.
Patsy?
Yeah. try to jump in and bring you up to date where we are with this project financially and whatever. We're at the punch list stage, which could go on for, a month to 6 weeks, something like that. And then financially with the state, we once we have full closure with all the contracts for all the subs, then we will be receiving the last amount of money from the state, which is it's like $104,000 out of their $8,000 grant. I do hope that you get to the mansion and see some of the exciting pieces that were sort of outside of the mechanical project itself. The front door has been restored to what it was originally, just the day before our grand opening. And our Randolph Rogers Lockwood statue and Herder base have been also restored and are really quite magnificent. And the original kitchen, and which is of course now our gift shop, we spent a lot of time and energy on that, bringing it back to what it looked like 160 years ago. There were 8 coats of paint in there, and during the process of our punch list, we discovered an original stove in the anteroom off of the kitchen, which is 1867 coal burning stove oven with actually the coal and ash still in it. So that's a fun thing that is new for us to talk about at the mansion. So I know a few of you were able to come yesterday, and that was great. And I hope, as I said, that you'll get over there and see what we look like now. We're pretty excited about getting ourselves open again. The actual move back and moving in and realigning all of our back possessions, our support materials and our archives will take us probably another year to unpack everything and get it in order. So it's an ongoing project for us. So again, as Susie said, we're so appreciative of all of your support. And we thank you.
Terrific. Let's see. Guess we don't have David to report on buildings. I know cemeteries, I see the fence has been fixed at Brookside, unless I'm imagining things. And
Yeah, it's been fixed. I noticed that too.
okay. Financials is another thing that David has been taking care of, as well as his other real jobs. So old business. Do we have any old business anyone can think of? Guess not. New business.
The only
Not
thing,
even
old-
Eric?
the only thing old was, I haven't seen it yet, but that when they reinstalled at the is it CR Gibson building?
Oh yeah, so Mark
Yeah.
and I have seen that. It looks terrific. It's mounted on a brick wall, basically.
That's where we ended up with it because
Yeah,
that was,
well, I think they actually came up with that idea, and it looks terrific.
yeah, I saw a
I'm
picture.
sorry,
I just-
what is
I need
this?
to visit.
This is CR Gibson had a factory building on,
Oh, yeah, I didn't hear what you were saying.
Yeah,
in the
Knight
very
Street.
beginning.
and that was
Right.
the most interesting aspect of the building. And someone on their staff or the design staff came up with the idea of mounting it separately, is what they did. So
Okay.
yes, I went to a doctor's appointment in that office the other day.
Well, it's better than them saying when they wanted to cut it into pieces and bring it inside. So I mean,
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I guess that winds it up for this meeting, and Eric's getting ready to make a motion.
Could I
No,
just
no,
no,
make a
wait,
I have-
Jim has
suggestion?
something to say. Jim is,
I,
Could we do- if David's available next time, could we get him to give us a rundown on the financials?
yes,
Okay.
and maybe someday we'll get another member that's an expert on that, since our previous one had the nerve to move up to upstate.
so,
Okay.
Dana, I'd like to go back
Yes.
one step
Okay,
into the
yes.
old business.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Regarding the demo delay ordinance, last month, Rich volunteered to be part of a subcommittee. I volunteered to hopefully be part of the subcommittee.
Right.
I got the impression that that bus was going to be driven by somebody in city government. And I know I haven't heard anything from anybody. And Rich, have you heard anything from anybody?
Yeah, I mean, Jim, you've been also on the sort of lines with this, talking to Tom Livingston, but there's a meeting
Yeah.
tomorrow.
And Tom Livingston is going to be there, and I believe he's
Okay,
going to be
because I
there,
heard
and
nothing about it.
Michelle.
Yeah,
What
sorry,
time?
I didn't loop you in. I think it was open-ended, and then I sent out that
Okay.
other email to confirm. But yeah, since it's just the three of you, that should be fine because that's not a quorum and it doesn't have to be a public meeting.
Yeah.
What time?
Tomorrow at 9 via Teams, Microsoft Teams, which is virtual.
Okay.
I could send
uh,
you that link
yeah.
if you're available.
Okay. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do that. I've got appointments in the morning and in the afternoon. Well, next time.
Okay, we'll loop you in when and if we meet again or any updates on that.
Great, thank you.
Eric,
Well,
if
yeah,
you want to chat after this privately, you can give me a call. We can talk through. So that way, anything that you have concerns about, I can relay back to the council.
Okie doke. Let me have your phone number.
Let me give that to you off public forum.
Oh, okay. All right.
Also, there's been a few demo notices in my email. I don't know if we
I
we're
looked up
holding on
some of
that,
them.
or there's
Short
Outer Road. I'm just finding here.
Outer Road is looks like a building that's already been heavily modified from its original state. The one in Shorefront Park is
Are these demos notices that we've
Demo
received in the past and we've discussed?
No, this one's a new 5/7, May 7th. I'm finding it here in my email.
Because
Which ones are they?
we can't really discuss it unless it's been on.
We're in new
it's on the
business.
Yeah.
new business.
For new
Yeah.
business.
Okay. Because yeah, how do we do that, Michelle?
Seems like it should be a new business, even if we're going to say we're not going to discuss it because it was distributed to everybody.
When it gets distributed or forwarded to everybody, let me know if it's of interest to you and the commission, and I can put
Okay.
it on your agenda for the upcoming meeting. That would be the best way to do it. Even
Okay.
though, yes, it's technically falls under new business, we need to make sure that we itemize it actually on your agenda physically.
Right.
So the public is aware and it's disclosed what the commission is going to be talking about.
Because it said pre-demo, like
Yeah, they do. That's the technically what it's called. So
I never noticed that before. Okay.
yeah.
So as I recall, the process is that Michelle gets copies of those as soon as they're issued. And then if any of us, and and she distributes to everybody on the commission. And if we have any questions about it, then it goes then it's raised to the commission as part of a regular meeting. Is that the way it works?
Currently, but that's ultimately up for discussion I think it's an unclear process and is kind of the crux of why we're looking at the demolition delay ordinance, because there is no process in place. So currently, I know recently within last year, I was forwarding them to all of you so everybody's aware, not just Dana. But now it would make sense if you guys want to discuss an item that is up for pre-demo, let me know and I can put it on the agenda. And then eventually any process that's established within the demolition delay ordinance will follow that.
Well, wouldn't it make sense that any item that comes through with a demolition request, just automatically put it on the agenda for the next meeting?
Right, just to
And
talk
that
about it
way,
a
if
little bit.
if it turns out that, no, this is not worth breaking a sweat over, then we can just dispose of it under the new business part. And if there is concern about a particular property or structure, then it'll already be on the agenda for us to discuss as to if we are going to pursue or accept a demo delay order.
Right, or if we want to go
That's-
have
I
a
think
site visit
that's,
to
I
see
think
it.
that's what the process was supposed to be. When I first started about a year and a half ago, there was a question of, and then Michelle decided that not that she didn't decide. We asked her to distribute the demo applications when they came
Mhm.
through. And then we could put a hold on it if there was something that we wanted. But then putting that hold on it becomes problematic sometimes. And that's why we decided that we wanted to discuss the ordinance, because the ordinance dictates how many days you have to comment on it or and object to it. And so because if you, as you recall, there was a couple that have gone almost like 6 months holding something up, and then we don't
Yeah.
do anything with it. And the other question was, well, you know, what do we do? What do we do with it? You know, who is it that makes the decision? And I think this is part of what we want to talk about tomorrow with the ordinance group.
Are we also diving into the major remodel of the interior of a home? That's not a demo? Because that's what happened with Willow Street, the quote, oldest house in Norwalk.
That
And
was
it looks like around the corner from me, it's all gutted out too, and that's not
right.
a demo.
So
And it
Bill
has a
Arlen
really
told me
old
that
area.
he was going to take a look at 61 Witch Lane,
Mhm.
which again, I don't know. That was a second story addition, which doesn't really look
Yeah,
like
but
what's
they've
going
gone in
on
there and
there.
hollowed the
But
whole thing out.
But I think it also
Yeah.
depends, it goes back to the ordinance again, which describes what a demo is. And,
right,
and we never really, I don't think we ever talked about the interior. We always talked about the exterior of it. And I think the one that you're talking about, Lisa, was quite a while ago too, wasn't it? Was it probably a
Well,
couple of
it's
years ago?
between, but it's right going on right now. It's between Range Road and Ledge Road. It used to be a fox hunting lodge. Back in the, when this used
yeah,
to be
that's again, that's
Woods-
kind of
Woods.
been built on. They kind of extracted the 1890 section of the house, and then built.
But again, that all goes,
yeah.
the demolition applications that we're talking about all have a definition in there. So if it's the definition, it should include the interior of it. I think, we should probably discuss that tomorrow. Because I
guess
don't think
it's
it talks
also-
about the interior right now.
Yeah, because also the problem with 2 Willow Street is they applied for a second story remodeling, and that's not what they had in
And then
mind.
they had an excavator there
Yeah.
crashing it down. And then they planted large arborvitaes to screen everything from the road. So there should be some more oversight when someone's going to be doing a major, or even what they say is minor, because it seems like sometimes people are very vague about what they're doing, that there should be more site visits.
I'm
Right,
not
and-
disagreeing with you, Lisa,
House.
but I think that's part of the demolition of, that's in the ordinance.
But if it's not called a
Right.
demolition, if it's called a remodel of a second floor,
But the definition would probably have to cover a certain amount of renovation within it.
So I think that demolition as it's
Yeah.
currently defined, any wrecking activity directed to the disassembling, dismantling, dismembering, and or raising of the exterior, you could include interior on that. And those are, I think, terms broad enough where you could consider dismembering, dismantling, disassembling any interior features of a historic room or space, that could be considered sort of an interior designation.
Isn't that kind of intrusive, though?
The
Well,
line.
at
We'll
the
have
same time,
to-
if someone is takes the demolition inside to ensure that it needs to be demolished.
Did they
I
ruin it
don't
so
know,
bad inside that they have to, yeah.
Yeah, or they'll do something to wreck it. I know that happened. The Catskill Mountain House is supposed to be salvaged, but they salvaged so much stuff that they couldn't do anything with the building. But that was, of
Yeah,
course,
but
not
isn't
here
it-
decades ago.
But isn't
There-
what
there-
Eric is saying is kind of true? It becomes a bit intrusive that, if the inside is a mess, and it's unlivable, you have to do quite a bit of renovation to make it livable.
I
And
mean, there is
still not
precedent
get the
out
shell.
there for permits for minor work of interior spaces that are,
Yeah.
much more lenient to these kinds of things. You're going to put in a whole new electrical system, got to tear out walls, or you take out horsehair walls for things that are, much more efficient at insulation, for example. There are
Asbestos
to
abatement.
do that. Right.
Right, but when it goes above and beyond what the scope of the work was originally supposed to be, and then someone brings in an excavator and starts crashing down, I mean, that's
Well,
what
It's
happened.
demolition. Huh?
Yeah,
It
Lisa,
became a
that
demolition
was,
without being told it was going to be a demolition.
yeah,
Yeah, but so
that's
against
just
law. So you
outright.
then you get a building inspector that comes in there and finds them. I'm sorry, Eric, go ahead.
No, it's okay. That was outright fraud to begin with,
Mm-hmm,
because they had no intention of just limiting to the scope of what they were putting in the application for. They knew right from the start that they were coming in with the wrecking ball.
mm-hmm. Right. But there should be a little bit more oversight on a historic or an older home.
Yes, I would agree with that.
I agree.
And I
especially-
guess
just want to
we'd like
add
them
a
to be-
note to remind, we'll have to, sorry?
Yeah, we don't get notices for, of course, just building permits. So that's where the loophole kind of is. Michelle, sorry. You were saying?
Sorry, my computer keeps freezing, so
Okay.
sorry if I cut you off. No, I just wanted to remind, and I'm sure Corporation Council will capture that that we only can do what state statute allows, and we'll have to double check if interior the state allows for the demolition delay to include the interior, because they might have certain language that says otherwise. So just wanted to put that out there, that it might not be able to include the interior just based on what state statute says.
Right. I guess what we're trying to say is structural integrity that's damaged from within. So that might be out of our purview, but it is important still. But
That
there's
was
so
a
much to
cry-
hammer out with this demo delay.
That was a crying shame. There was hand-hewn nails, there was pegs, it was
Right.
Lisa, fill me out on the history. What happened at this particular property, and what kind of property was it?
It was on Willow Street. It was
1671.
yeah. It was like one of the old, I think there's not maybe there might be one other house, I don't know, but it was the woman that lived there taught, and they used to have field trips to that house. Everybody remembers, and it had a
was-
lot older features. It had the stove. Yeah, it was all just kind of crashed down and made into like some kind of a boxy looking, I don't know what it is now, but
It was
The
a
house was
private
built
home or
by-
a public space?
it was a private home.
The house was built by a veteran of the Pequot Wars. He'd been awarded, 30 acres of land in Norwalk,
Yeah,
for his service in the Pequot Wars. And that house had stood there for over 300 years.
I know.
Yeah, and it was out of the way from the burning, and it was the
Right.
oldest one. I think it was the oldest home left in Norwalk.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And they just applied for a second story addition and went in and bulldozed it.
yeah. So Rich, what were you saying? Oh, you're just trying to get, yeah.
I was just
So it's
trying to
kind of a
understand the
small box.
situation.
And the fine was not really much. I don't remember what it was, but
and on top of which, they didn't even stick around to live in it. So I recall.
They flipped
But
it.
weren't they, didn't they
Yeah.
stop them? Didn't they stop them at one point? And then
Yeah.
they kind of
Yeah.
ignored it and just went on and demolished the whole thing when somebody's back. was
No,
turned?
no, they stopped, by the time they stopped it, it was too late. I mean, all that was left was some framework in the chimney.
yeah, I have pictures of it.
And
Yeah.
they were denied permission to build anything for quite some time, but then, what are you gonna do?
But that's why, what are you gonna do so that kind of thing doesn't happen in the
Yeah.
future with homes that might have old fireplaces, I mean, old features of historic nature. At least have it be brought up a little bit
Do you
different.
know if when they applied for their building permit, if they submitted actual plans?
That
I
is
don't know.
something we don't see, and I guess we'd have to ask Bill Ireland to see them.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah,
So
Yeah,
we should
for
bring
homes
that
of a
up
certain
tomorrow,
age.
Rich.
Yep.
Okay.
I think Jim was next. Sorry to say.
No, I'm all done. I'm all done.
Okay, Rich,
Yeah, and
maybe?
my concerns are addressed. So, Rich,
Yeah, but I'm all set.
Okay.
all right.
Anyway, so
back
that's
to you.
some questions brought up, and thanks for bringing up that demo delay subcommittee topic, Eric. So now can we do your favorite part of the meeting?
You know what,
Let
Lisa?
someone else do it. How about
How
Rich?
about you make the motion to
All right.
adjourn?
I make the motion this evening to adjourn.
Okay,
Second. Okay.
third, fourth, fifth. Okay.
Okay. Good night, everyone.
Eric,
Thank
I
you.
sent you
Good
an
night.
email,
See you at all our events
Okay.
coming up. Thank
so
you.
check that out.
Bye.
Okay.
Thanks,
Good
everybody.
night, everybody.
Good night.
Everybody.